Level 1. Potential infinity. The first and most intuitive kind of infinity is called potential infinity. This is the infinity you learned as a kid. You count 1, 2, 3, 4, and you never stop. There's always a next number. No matter how big your number gets, you can always add one more. This kind of infinity isn't a destination, it's a process. It's the idea that something can keep going without end. Ancient Greek philosophers like Aristotle were actually pretty comfortable with potential infinity because it never asks you to hold an infinite thing in your hands. You just keep going. Simple enough. But then mathematicians got greedy. They asked, what if infinity is a number itself? What if we can talk about a completed, actual infinite collection? Level 2. Countable infinity. Welcome to actual infinity and our first real size of infinite set. In the 19th century, Georg Cantor, the father of modern set theory, introduced a revolutionary idea. He said, two sets are the same size if you compare every element of one with exactly one element of the other, with nothing left over. He called this a one-to-one correspondence. Take the natural numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This set is infinite. Now take the even numbers, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, also infinite. Are they the same size? Common sense says no. The evens are only half the naturals. But Cantor showed they are actually the same size, because you can pair every natural number n with the even number 2n. Perfect match. No leftovers. Even more surprisingly, the set of all integers, including negative numbers, is the same size as the natural numbers. So is the set of all rational numbers, fractions. These are all examples of countably infinite sets. Cantor called this size Aleph null. It's the smallest infinity. The ground floor. Level 3, uncountable infinity. Here's where things get truly wild. Cantor asked, what about the real numbers? All the decimals, not just the nice fractions, but numbers like pi, the square root of 2, and an endless sea of others. Can we count those too? He proved, with a breathtakingly clever argument, called the diagonal argument, that we absolutely cannot. Suppose you tried to list all real numbers between 0 and 1. Write them as an infinite list. Cantor showed you can always construct a new number that cannot appear anywhere on your list by changing the first digit of the first number, the second digit of the second number, and so on. The new number differs from every entry on the list. Your list is incomplete. No matter how clever you are, you can never write them all down. This means the real numbers are uncountably infinite, a strictly larger kind of infinity than Aleph null. Cantor called this the cardinality of the continuum, often written as 2 to the power of Aleph null. So right there we have a second floor on the infinity tower. And the gap between countable and uncountable is not small. It's not like the difference between a million and a billion. It's a fundamentally different type of infinite. Level 4, the power set and the infinite tower. Now things escalate fast. Cantor proved one of the most powerful theorems in all of mathematics. For any set, its power set is always strictly larger. The power set of a set is the collection of all its subsets. What does this mean for infinity? Take Aleph null, the countable infinity. Its power set gives you a bigger infinity. 2 to the power of Aleph null. Take the power set of that, and you get an even bigger infinity, then bigger still. And you can keep doing this forever. This creates an infinite tower of infinities. Aleph null, Aleph 1, Aleph 2, Aleph 3, each one incomprehensibly larger than the last, and the tower itself never ends. There are infinitely many levels of infinity, each unreachable from the one below just by counting. This was a genuinely shocking result in the 1800s. Some of Cantor's contemporaries thought he had gone mad. The famous mathematician Leopold Kronecker called him a corrupter of youth, but history proved Cantor right. Level 5. Inaccessible cardinals and beyond. Mathematicians, not satisfied with a mere infinite tower, went further. At the very top edge of the tower, described by power sets, sit objects called large cardinals, infinities so vast that their existence cannot even be proven from the standard rules of mathematics. You have to assume they exist as an additional axiom. The smallest large cardinals are called inaccessible cardinals. They are so large that no amount of power setting or combining of smaller infinities can ever reach them. They are, in a very real sense, unreachable from below. Beyond inaccessible cardinals, there are Malo cardinals, measurable cardinals, wooden cardinals, supercompact cardinals, each family sitting higher and higher in a hierarchy that extends further than any mathematician has fully mapped. These aren't just abstract curiosities. Large cardinals have real consequences for the kinds of mathematical statements that can be proven. They sit at the very frontier of human knowledge. Thanks for watching. If this made your brain hurt in a good way, subscribe, because we're just getting started.